everyone, welcome back to my class. Myself Rumana Ali. I hope you all are well. So in the last class we have studied about one case study of Vanaparthi and Vadicherla villages to know the importance of groundwater. In today's class we are going to study one more case, and that is a study of Kotapalli village, an example of water management effort. A survey of Kotapalli village shows the points like it is having the dry land area more when compared to the irrigated area, and the literacy rate of that village is very low, and also the laborers that are present to carry out the agricultural practices are also less. The labor was scarce and they use the large amount of the pesticides and fertilizers in their fields, and also they'll be not having even a single water harvesting structure in the village. So these are the points that were collected during the survey of the village Kotapalli, and one organization named ICRISAT. So here one organization named ICRISAT. ICRISAT stands for International Crop Research Institute for Semi-Arid Tropics. The people of the ICRISAT made the water structures in the village. They made 14 water structures, and out of these 13 were masonry dams and one is earthen dam. So these water structures were constructed in the village that shows the capacity of 300 to 2000 meter cube, and it is constructed to prevent the soil erosion of 38 hectares of area. So this is the data which is given by ICRISAT, and they made 14 water structures in the village that helps to prevent the soil erosion. So these steps were taken into consideration to prevent the soil erosion and also to prevent the wastage of water. To conserve the water, they have taken these steps, or they have given these steps to the communities of the village. And in the Kotapalli village, due to the scarcity of water, the 28 wells were dried up, and these wells were connected to nearby Nala. Nala is also called as Lakshmi Canal, and this Lakshmi Canal is sourced from Sri Ram Sagar project. So the water from this Lakshmi Canal is channelized to these 28 wells through some dikes and barriers. There were constructed some dikes and the barriers to channelize the water from the canal into these 28 wells. So in this way they recharge the wells that are present in the village, and this leads to the recharging of the ground level. As the 28 wells were recharged by the water that is channelized from the Lakshmi Canal, they allowed the recharging of groundwater also. So in this way these precautionary steps increases the amount of the groundwater in the village, and whatever the water structures they have constructed and they developed, it is allotted to each group of farmers or to the communities. That means they have allotted one particular water structure to each communities, that is to each group of farmers. So in this way the economic status of the village Kotapalli has increased with the help of ICRISAT people, because they suggest some measures and the farmers followed that measures or to develop their incomes. So this is called as community based intervention. So some of the interventions are suggested by the ICRISAT to overcome or to develop the economic status of the village. So this is called as community based intervention, because one particular water structure that is developed and constructed by the people is allotted to each group of farmers, that is to the communities of the farmers. That is the reason it is called as community based intervention. So by following this method, the development can be seen in some villages and the agriculture can be done in a proper way by following these methods. So up till we were discussing about community based interventions. Let us discuss about farmer based interventions and the farmer based conservation of soil and The water methods include, the first one is broad bed furrow. This is a method or a system in which the furrows are made in the field, and that furrows helps the soil to hold the water for a longer period of time. In this way, it prevents the soil erosion as well as it helps in conservation of water. So, in this system, the furrows are made in the agricultural field, and that furrows helps the soil to hold the water for a longer period of time. The next one is contour field bunding. Contour field bunding involves the placement of the lines of stone that helps the soil to capture or to hold the rainwater before it runs off. So, the rainfall that occurs, it can be held by the soil because of the bunds that are made in the field. So, in this method, the bunds were made by placing the line of stones, and these bunds are capturing the rainwater, and hence it helps in conservation of water and also in preventing the soil erosion. The next one is plantation of Glyceridia. So, the Glyceridia are the plants that can help to fix the nitrogen in the soil, and these plants are also helped to strengthen the bunds that are made. After the bunding was done, that bunds needs to be strong enough to hold the water. So, that bunds were strengthened by planting the trees like Glyceridia. So, these plants are able to fix the nitrogen, and they are able to strengthen the bunds. So, therefore, the plantation of Glyceridia also helps to conserve the water and to prevent the soil erosion. So, these are some of the methods under the farmer based interventions. Farmers used these methods or followed these methods to increase their crop production, and they said that they got 250 kilogram more pigeon pea and 50 kilogram more maize per hectare by following these methods. And the farmers also implemented the micro irrigation techniques. That micro irrigation techniques include drip irrigation or usage of sprinklers. So, by using these micro irrigation techniques, the farmers can minimize the usage of water. These are some of the methods and techniques that needs to be followed by the farmers in order to prevent the soil erosion and also to conserve the natural resources like soil and water. So, along with the steps in conservation of soil and in the restoration of water, the wasteland is also protected by planting some fruit trees that can be grown well in the dry land. So, here we will talk about the wasteland development and tree plantation. To protect the wasteland from soil erosion or to prevent the soil erosion of the wastelands, we can grow or we can plant some fruit trees that can withstand the environmental conditions of this wasteland. Okay, so by growing fruit trees, we can prevent the soil erosion of the wasteland. And just before we have discussed that on the bunds, certain plants are planted that fixes the nitrogen in the soil and that strengthen the bunds. So, to strengthen the bunds, we can grow the plants like Glyceridia and some other plants also we can plant it on the bunds that makes the bunds strong to prevent the soil erosion and that fixes the nitrogen in the soil. So, in this way the economic status of the village increases and the income of the village increases and the economic status and the environmental conditions becomes better with the help of people of ICRISAT. Because the people of ICRISAT is an organization, I have already told you that ICRISAT is an organization that aims to develop the agricultural practices and they help to conserve the natural resources like water and the soil. So, the people of ICRISAT made some interventions like community based intervention, farmer based interventions and wasteland development and tree plantations. So, by these interventions and suggestive measures which has given by the ICRISAT helps the communities of the village to increases their income and to develop the environmental conditions. So, this is about the methods that needs to be followed to prevent the soil erosion and to conserve the water, that is for restoration of water. These methods need to be implemented by the farmers. तो अभी हम केस स्टडी 2 के बारे में पढ़ेंगे जो कि कोथापल्ली विलेज की हुई थी और कोथापली विलेज में जब सर्वे हुआ था तब उसका बहुत ज़्यादा बैड कंडीशन था, यानी लिटरेसी रेट लो थी और पेस्टिसाइड्स वगैरह वो बहुत ज़्यादा इस्तेमाल करते थे एग्रीकल्चर में, और कोथापली विलेज में एक भी वाटर स्ट्रक्चर नहीं था। तो इसके लिए कोथापली विलेज की जो भी कंडीशन थी वो बहुत ज़्यादा वर्स थी। अब यहाँ पर ये विलेज के इकोनॉमिक स्टेटस को अच्छा करने के लिए और एनवायरमेंटल कंडीशंस को सही करने के लिए इक्रीसाट के जो पीपल है उन्होंने थोड़े से मेथड्स बताए हैं फार्मर्स को, ताकि वो अपनी एग्रीकल्चरल प्रैक्टिसेस में वो मेथड्स को इम्प्लीमेंट करें और अपना इनकम बढ़ा सके। तो वो वाले मेथड्स और इंटरवेंशंस है कम्युनिटी बेस्ड इंटरवेंशन, फार्मर बेस्ड इंटरवेंशंस, वेस्ट लैंड डेवलपमेंट एंड ट्री प्लांटेशन। कम्युनिटी बेस्ड इंटरवेंशंस में हमने पढ़ा है कि थोड़े से वाटर स्ट्रक्चर्स कंस्ट्रक्ट किए गए हैं विलेज में, ताकि जो भी ग्राउंड वाटर है वो रिचार्ज हो सके, और वो वाटर स्ट्रक्चर्स कम्युनिटीज को अलॉट किए गए हैं। हर एक वाटर स्ट्रक्चर हर एक कम्युनिटी को अलॉट किया गया है ताकि वाटर मैनेजमेंट हो सके एग्रीकल्चर फील्ड्स में। ठीक है, तो इसको हम बोलेंगे कम्युनिटी बेस्ड इंटरवेंशंस। और फार्मर बेस्ड इंटरवेंशंस में हमने 3 मेथड्स पढ़े हैं, जो कि फर्स्ट वाला था ब्रॉड बेड फरो, यानी एग्रीकल्चर फील्ड में फरोज बना दिए जाएंगे ताकि सॉइल इरोजन यानी सॉइल वॉश ऑफ ना हो पानी से, और जो भी वाटर है वो भी कंजर्व किया जाए। जो सॉइल है फरोज बनाने की वजह से सॉइल वाटर को होल्ड कर सकती है लॉन्गर पीरियड ऑफ टाइम के लिए। ठीक है, तो उसको हम बोलेंगे ब्रॉड बेड फरो। और फार्मर बेस्ड इंटरवेंशंस में हमने कंटोर बेस्ड बंडिंग के बारे में भी पढ़ा है कि बंड्स बनाए जाते हैं स्टोन्स की मदद से, ताकि जो भी रेन वाटर हो वो होल्ड कर सके, कैप्चर कर सके रेन वाटर को। ठीक है, तो इससे भी वाटर को कंजर्व किया जा सकता है ये वाले मेथड से भी। और यहाँ पर वेस्ट लैंड डेवलपमेंट एंड ट्री प्लांटेशन में वेस्ट लैंड्स पर फ्रूट ट्रीज ग्रो कर सकते हैं जो ड्राई लैंड्स में अच्छे से ग्रो होते हैं। वो वाले ट्रीज हम यहाँ पर वेस्ट लैंड में ग्रो कर सकते हैं ताकि सॉइल इरोजन को प्रिवेंट किया जा सके। और यहाँ पर जो बंड्स बनाए जाते हैं वो वाले बंड्स को स्ट्रेंथन करने के लिए थोड़े से प्लांट्स लगाते हैं वहाँ पर। हम एक एग्जांपल ले सकते हैं जो कि ग्लाइरिसीडिया का एग्जांपल है। ये वाला प्लांट सॉइल में नाइट्रोजन फिक्स करने के लिए हेल्प करता है और बंड्स को भी स्ट्रेंथन करता है। सो इन दिस वे दीज आर द मेथड्स दैट हेल्प द फार्मर्स टू इंक्रीज देयर क्रॉप प्रोडक्शन and to make their economic status better. We have seen the importance of groundwater. Let us see how much of water is available in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. So a survey is conducted in the year 2004 and based on that survey this data is given, and here it is showing that the total amount of the water that is utilized in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh is available in TMC. TMC stands for 1000 million cubic feet. So 1 TMC is equals to 1000 million cubic feet. So here in the year 2004 the total amount of the water which is utilized is 2300 TMC, of which 2268 TMC is used in irrigation, and for the domestic uses 21 TMC of water has been utilized, and the requirement of water to carry out the industrial activities is 10 TMC, and for the power generation it is 1 TMC. 1 TMC of water is utilized to generate the power. So this is the information that is given by the survey conducted in the year 2004, and they also assume the requirement of the water in the future, that is in the year 2025. So they said that in the year 2025 the total amount of the water that is utilized in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh would be 3989 TMC, and of which they said that for power generation the water requirement becomes double. The double amount of the water is required for power generation when compared to the present water requirement, and in industrial activities also it increases 5 times. In the domestic use also it would be 6 times more when compared to the present requirement, and the water required for irrigation will show more than 1000 TMC of water is required for irrigation in addition. That is when compared to the present situations or present requirement 1000 TMC of more water would be required in the upcoming years. So this is the data which is given based on the survey. So how do we meet the requirement of the water? So to meet the requirement or the demand of the water in the future, we need to prepare ourselves. We need to take some initiative steps like conservation of water, harvesting the rainwater, and construction of percolation tank and recharging the groundwater. So these are some of the initiative steps or the methods that needs to be followed to save or to conserve the water for future use also. Natural resources around us. We have seen or studied about one natural resource, that is water. So what are the other natural resources? The other natural resources may be plants, animals, soil, air, fuels. So these are the different natural resources that are present in our environment. So the things which comes for our help or the things which are present for the betterment of our life, that things are called as resources. And the resources which we get from the nature, that are called as natural resources. And the resources like plants, animals, soil, air, fuels, all these constitute the natural resources. And some of the natural resources are renewable, that means they can be recycled, and certain natural resources are not renewable resources like fossil fuels. So if we use that fossil fuels in a large amount, then they will be depleted because it takes millions of years for the formation of fossil fuels. That is the reason they are called as non-renewable resources. So to control the usage of the natural resources, we need to follow some of the methods. And one more thing is that, as I said you, that renewable resources can be recycled. It includes water and air. We know that the renewable resources are present in the larger amount and it can also be recycled. So we think that why can't we use these renewable resources in a large amount? Why can't we use these in a discriminated way? That is, why can't we use them as much as we can? So we can't use the natural resources in the larger amount. We can't use them extensively because it can disturb the balance of our environment. When we talk about the renewable natural resource water, no doubt the water is present in the larger amount on the earth, but the percentage of the water that is present for our consumption is very less. So this is the reason we need to conserve the water, or we need to conserve all the natural resources for our future use also. If we do not conserve the natural resources like water or air or soil, then we may fall in the shortage, that is called as scarcity. We may face the scarcity of these natural resources. So we should always conserve the natural resources and we should take care of them. So caring of the natural resources and management of the natural resources is called as conservation, which is very, very important for our future use. We should always think about the conservation of the natural resources for our future generation and for ourselves also. So in the previous lesson, we have studied about the role of plants and animals in balancing the environment. If we want to live a healthy and better life, then we should always take care of these plants and animals. That means we should see whether the plants and animals are balanced in the environment or not. So in the previous lesson, we have discussed or we have studied about the plants and animals, the role of plants and animals in balancing the environment. If these biotic components like plants and animals are properly balanced in an environment, then it leads to a healthy and a better life. It gives you a healthy and a better life. So these biotic components of an environment should be balanced in a proper way. And along with these biotic components, the soil, air and water should also be conserved, because we cannot grow plants in all the types of soils. Only the fertile soil is suitable for growing the crops or for growing the plants. So we should always conserve the natural resource soil also. So fertile soil is available for growing the crops. This soil can be lost by soil erosion, that is by wind or by water or by human activities. So soil should be conserved, which is a very important natural resource for growing the crops, that is for agriculture purpose, and it should not be deteriorated by adding some chemicals or by adding the larger amount of pesticides and insecticides. The soil should be naturally fertile and it should have the good quantity of or good amount of the water present in it. It should have good amount of the water present in it, and it should also show the presence of microorganisms in them, because the microbial activity helps the plants to grow and it helps to carry out the different processes in the plants also. So the soil should also shows the presence of microorganisms to carry out the microbial activity. In this way, the soil is also a very important natural resource that needs to be conserved. And in certain countries like Australia, there is a scarcity of water and they follow various methods, and there are many restrictions on the usage of water. That means they do not allow the water, they do not use the water to clean the pavements, they do not use the water to sprinkle on the lawns, to wash the cars. So in this way, they are conserving the water to overcome the scarcity of the water. And we know that the population is growing day by day, and if there is an increase in the population, the demands or the needs of the people also increases. They are clearing up the forest lands to set up some buildings, factories and some industries in order to get the economic and the social development. At the same time, it is a cost of many other living organisms or other natural resources that shows the impact later on the communities. So we need to see that along with the development, the conservation of the natural resources should also taken into consideration. So the benefits of the development should be weighed with the conservation. We should always value the natural resources, and we should set some methods that makes the development and conservation coexist. That means in which both the development and conservation coexist. So this is about the natural resources around us. हमने natural resource water के बारे में तो पढ़ा है. अभी हम देखेंगे कि और दूसरे नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज कौन से प्रेजेंट होते हैं नेचर में, और वो है प्लांट्स, एनिमल्स, सॉइल, एयर एंड फ्यूल्स. सो ये वाले रिसोर्सेज जो नेचर में प्रेजेंट होते हैं, जो हमारे लाइफ को बेटर बनाने के लिए हेल्प करते हैं, इस रिसोर्सेज को हम बोलेंगे नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज. ठीक है. और नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज भी दो तरह के होते हैं. एक होते हैं रेन्यूएबल और एक होते हैं नॉन रेन्यूएबल. रेन्यूएबल यानी जो रिसाइकल हो सकते हैं, और नॉन रेन्यूएबल यानी जो रिसाइकल नहीं हो सकते. और रेन्यूएबल रिसोर्सेज में हम वाटर और एयर का एग्जाम्पल ले सकते हैं, और नॉन रेन्यूएबल रिसोर्सेज में हम एग्जाम्पल लेंगे फॉसिल फ्यूल्स का, क्योंकि फॉसिल फ्यूल्स के फॉर्मेशन के लिए मिलियंस ऑफ ईयर्स लग जाते हैं. तो इसके लिए हमें फॉसिल फ्यूल्स को कंजर्व करना ज़रूरी है, उसका एक्सटेंसिवली यूज़ नहीं करना चाहिए. और रेन्यूएबल रिसोर्स भी हमारे पास लार्ज क्वांटिटी में तो प्रेजेंट होंगे, लेकिन हमें रेन्यूएबल रिसोर्सेज को भी कंजर्व करना है हमारे फ्यूचर यूज़ के लिए, क्योंकि जितना भी वाटर अर्थ में प्रेजेंट है, वो वाटर में से बस थोड़ा सा ही परसेंटेज ऑफ वाटर प्रेजेंट है जो कि हमारे इस्तेमाल के लिए है. ठीक है. तो इसके लिए हमें रेन्यूएबल रिसोर्सेज को भी कंजर्व करना है, उसको भी बचा कर रखना है हमारे फ्यूचर यूज़ के लिए. ठीक है. और यहाँ पर प्लांट्स और एनिमल्स जो है, ये वाले भी नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज है, इसको भी हमें प्रॉपरली बैलेंस रखना है हमारे एनवायरनमेंट में. तो ये प्रॉपरली बैलेंस करने से हमें एक बेटर लाइफ मिल सकती है. और प्लांट्स, एनिमल्स से हटकर भी थोड़े से नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज है, जो कि है सॉइल. और सॉइल भी एक इम्पॉर्टेंट नेचुरल रिसोर्स है, क्योंकि सॉइल एग्रीकल्चर करने के लिए हेल्प करता है, जो कि एक मेन ऑक्यूपेशन है. तो सॉइल क्रॉप प्रोडक्शन में हेल्प करता है, और हमें सॉइल को भी कंजर्व करना ज़रूरी है. और पेस्टिसाइड्स और इंसेक्टिसाइड्स का भी थोड़ा सा ही इस्तेमाल करना चाहिए, ताकि सॉइल प्रॉपरली बैलेंस्ड रहे. इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट और सोशल डेवलपमेंट के साथ साथ कंजर्वेशन ऑफ नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज पर भी हमें ध्यान देना चाहिए, ताकि ये नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज फ्यूचर जनरेशन के लिए भी प्रेजेंट रहे और हमारे लिए भी प्रेजेंट रहे. सो दिस इज अबाउट द नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज अराउंड अस. That's all for today. Meet you in next class. Goodbye.